Join me as I share my personal journey of overcoming addiction, anxiety, and depression. It's time to face my past and inspire others to fight their battles. Hi, everyone. I'm so grateful to have you all here today to share my story. I've struggled with addiction, anxiety, and depression for what feels like an eternity, but I've come out the other side, and I'm excited to share my journey with you. I hit rock bottom and my addiction consumed me. I was trapped in a cycle of self-destruction, and I couldn't see a way out. Anxiety and depression wrapped themselves around my ankles, holding me back from moving forward. Every day was a struggle, and I felt like I was drowning in my own misery. I was constantly on edge, waiting for the other shoe to drop, and I couldn't escape the darkness that followed me everywhere. I felt like I was living in a perpetual nightmare, and I didn't know how to wake up. The anxiety and depression made it hard for me to function, and I began to shy away from social situations, fearing judgment and rejection. The addiction took over, and I lost control. I started to question my own worth, wondering if I was even deserving of happiness. As the addiction, anxiety, and depression spiraled out of control, I lost touch with reality. I started to believe that I was defined by my struggles, that I was weak and unable to overcome them. But deep down, I knew that wasn't true. I knew I was stronger than that. One of the most significant triggers for me was my lack of self-acceptance and social anxiety. It sent me into a downward spiral, and I turned to substances to cope with the stress. But it only made things worse. I felt like I was drowning, and I didn't know how to keep my head above water. The emotional struggles were overwhelming, and I couldn't see a way out. The impact on my daily life was devastating. I lost my job, my relationships suffered, and I became isolated. The addiction, anxiety, and depression consumed me, and I felt like I was living in a prison of my own making. I started to wonder if I'd ever be able to break free. But then something shifted inside of me. After several overdoses, I realized that I was tired of living in the darkness. I was tired of being held back by my struggles. I knew I deserved better. So, I made the decision to take control of my life, to face my demons head-on, and to fight for my freedom. I started attending therapy sessions, and I began to learn how to cope with my emotions in a healthy way. I started to focus on self-care, and I slowly began to rebuild my life. I started small, taking tiny steps towards recovery, and I celebrated every single victory, no matter how small it seemed. The journey wasn't easy, and there were times when I wanted to give up. But I refused to let my struggles define me. I refused to let them win. I kept pushing forward, even when it felt like the world was against me. Looking back on my journey, I'm proud of the progress I've made. I've learned so much about myself, and I've grown in ways I never thought possible. I've learned to forgive myself, to be kind to myself, and to love myself, flaws and all. In closing, I want to say thank you for listening to my story. I hope it resonates with you, and I hope it inspires you to fight your own battles. Don't be afraid to share your own story, and don't be afraid to seek help. You are not alone, and you are not defined by your struggles. Keep pushing forward, and never give up on yourself. If you've been inspired by my story, please take a moment to share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Don't forget to comment below and share your own experiences. And if you're new here, consider subscribing for more content related to mental health and personal growth. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.